for the stereotactic radiosurgery. It wasn't available here at the time. It is now. So the stereotactic radiosurgery that was done at Emory was not successful. Even though I left that big machine, that big Stargate-looking machine, I did leave it temporarily not in pain, the pain that I had when I was laid down there on the treatment table on December 2nd, 2010. The huge 16 gray dose of radiation that I received during the 1 hour treatment either wasn't properly shaped or it wasn't properly delivered, because the cancer in my spine, though it was temporarily knocked back, it didn't die, and it just kept marching on. I have a medical dream team. My family practice, Dr. Clark Gillette, has helped me to find out that I have sleep apnea, and that he's been there for me during all my hospitalizations, trying to ride herd on the long list of medications that I've had to take. Dr. Raj Alapan is my nephrologist. Now, although I can only understand about every fifth word he says, partly from his strong Indian accent, and partly because he's just so damn smart, he has helped me take really good care of my remaining kidney, which was named Strainer by Ben and Sharon Williams. We had a contest. They are the parents of a good friend of ours, Sherry Watkins, and they responded. They're former residents of Columbus. They live in St. Simons. And they responded to a Name the Kidney contest that I had on my blog, and the name Strainer was chosen. So Raj helps me take care of Strainer. Jill and I attended Ben, this is Sherry's daddy who gave us the name. We attended Ben's funeral in Hamilton a couple of years ago. And we found out at his funeral that he's had a lifelong penchant of giving people nicknames. The fact that he named my kidney Strainer was included in his memorial service. What a character, and what a kidney. Dr. Granville Babb is my radiologist. Having one person who knows you and having that person read every CT and every MRI scan is really a comforting thing. Neurosurgeons Michael Gorham and Mark Goldman have each performed major surgeries on my spine. On Saturday morning, October 8, 2011, I woke up with considerable weakness in my right leg and foot. I called Mike Gorham's cell phone, and he told me to head to the hospital straight away, to the medical center, where his partner, Dr. Goldman, would be waiting for me. Once I got to the hospital and they had prepped me for surgery, now Mike wasn't on call that weekend. Mike wasn't working that weekend. Mike appeared at the head of my table, of the bed that I was lying on. He was on his way to a University of Alabama football game, and I think it was homecoming that week. Turned around, came back, and was standing over my bed to do two things: to talk to me and to brief his partner, Mark Goldman, on my condition. They figured I was a couple of hours at most away from losing both of my legs and being confined to a wheelchair. Roll Tide. Medical oncologist, hematologist, Dr. Andy Pippas, I really don't even know where to begin. We're so lucky to have him here, and Andy and I have spent a lot of time together over the past 5 years. There's a couple of things I'd like to tell you about Andy. He touches patients, not an emotional touch, but he lays his hands on you. Sometimes I think cancer patients feel like some kind of a pariah. Maybe that people think they're contagious or something. Andy gets in there, and I mean close. Once he even asked me to blow my breath in his face to see if that might give him a clue as to what was going on inside of me. And I've said this time and time again about Andy. Andy Pippas is the least egotistical doctor I've ever known. All the times I've suggested that I needed to see someone who sees dozens or hundreds of more cases of kidney cancer than Andy sees in a year, Andy said to me, "Tell me what I can do to help you." He has used his significant influence in the oncology community to get me in many doors for consultation as we've made our way through this. I'm living and breathing proof that we have brilliant medical minds in this community. I've had additional opinions from world-class physicians at MD Anderson, Duke University, Roosevelt Hospital, and Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan, New York City. Every one of those doctors, who are world-class doctors, all said that I was receiving exactly the care they would have prescribed for me. So I was able, with only a couple of exceptions, to get all the care I needed right here in Columbus. I can't tell you how many people begged us, go somewhere else. I mean, you just wouldn't believe the pressure that people put on you because they don't think you know what you're doing. They begged us to go be treated somewhere else. But I'm alive and well today because of those decisions to seek treatment right here in Columbus. My story is a message of hope, about teamwork, about faith in God and faith in one's fellow man. Most things in life can be a blessing and a curse. Cancer is definitely a curse, but in my life it's been an almost indescribable blessing. Through my writings and because of the overwhelming response, I've been able to witness my funeral while standing on top of the dirt with all the attendees. 14 people who read my blog post about sleep apnea went for sleep studies to determine whether or not they had the debilitating sleep disorder. I literally can't go anywhere without someone encouraging me and letting me know that my writings have touched something in their life. Now, I wasn't joking when I said I don't recall any of the pain that I've been over the last 5 years. Oddly, I've been able to remember almost every good thing that has happened to me. So as I set out to write the speech, as I read back through the blog post, back all the way to the beginning, it was like I was seeing a lot of this stuff for the first time. I want to very quickly tell you about a conversation I had with Dr. Tippis, because this really, my goal today was to give you some idea about what goes on in the head of a person that's being treated for cancer. So I'm going to put my hand up in just a second, and that is where I stopped listening to Andy and I went inside of my own head. And I was going through this right in the middle of one of his sentences. I think I can make this work. By all rights, Monday's appointment with Dr. Andy Pippis was routine. We walked in, we were called, walked into the treatment room, and I offloaded my iPhone, my Kindle, sunglasses, reading glasses on the counter next to where my 3-inch thick chart would soon be opened by Dr. Pippis. I was holding Jill's hand when he walked in. I stood to shake his hand and sat back down. I knew I could tell something was different. He scooted across the short distance and took my free right hand and looked me straight in the eye. Over his shoulder were my clinical research coordinator, Donna Ferguson, and a young woman whom we had agreed could sit in on this meeting with Dr. Pippis. She's on the verge of finishing her schooling to become a physician, and she was shadowing. I don't think she'll ever forget this visit. Here's Dr. Pippis talking. Your CT scan is troublesome. You have a spot on your spine at L2, and I'm very concerned about it. He said, Mike, I want you to internalize this. You are not going to die from this anytime soon. Do you hear me? You're not going to die from this anytime soon. So what we need to do, boom, I left Andy right there. He was still talking. And this is what I had rolling around in my head. I got to finish the potting bench I've been working on for Jill. How many months have I been working on that project? That thing is heavy. Must have 10 pounds of screws in it. I wonder where she'll want to keep it. It can stay outside because it'll be caulked, sealed with the right kind of finish. I feel so good about my life right now, Mike. If I haven't told you lately, you're a good man. You're fiercely faithful to Jill. You tell her how much she means to you, how much you love her, how well she takes care of you when you're sick or sad. You've just been what Christopher and Nicholas needed when their father got sick and died. And you've gotten way more from them than you've ever given, from the fact they've accepted your fatherly love and given you a place to give that love when Michael and Anna weren't close enough to touch. You're a good friend to your friends and a generous giver of your time, to your causes, and are devout, although foul-mouthed follower of your God, where it's not a single reason that you earn what the good doctor is telling you right. Back to Andy. Now, to get this spot biopsied and do a bone scan and decide what we're going to do next. It could very well be osteoporosis or arthritis, he said. He leveled to look at me as he walked away down the hall and turned around and said, Mike, I'm very concerned about this. Although we don't have the pathology report in hand, he knew, and we knew, my cancer was back. From August 25th, 2011, I feel like some subhuman, bug-eyed, crusty, smelly, pissed-off, short-tempered bitch of a critter whose refrigerator box home has just been tampered with. But I live with a beautiful woman who doesn't seem to notice how odd, how broken, how anxious her roommate has become. From January 12, 2012, I will not, by God, be standing here flat-footed, doing nothing, and be taken down by this cancer. If it wants me, it's going to have to come at me with a bloody mace in one hand, a butcher knife in the other, a mouthful of bloody teeth. If it gets me, I'll be out of bullets with no fingernails left. I won't be sitting in this chair waiting to hear the tap on my front door. You can take that to the bank. Despite my rough edges and my occasional foul mouth, I have a strong faith. You can't go through what we've been through these last 5 years without having built your house upon rock. I'll leave you with a blog post from December 25th, 2011, on Christmas Day. It's the 139th Psalm. It brought me comfort then, and it brings me comfort now. O Lord, you have searched me out and known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You understand my thoughts long before. You are about my path and about my bed, and are acquainted with all my ways. For lo, there is not a word in my tongue, but you, O Lord, know it all together. You have beset me behind and before, and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful and excellent for me. I cannot attain to it. Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I go from your presence? If I climb up into heaven, you are there. If I go down to hell, you are there also. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there also your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, peradventure, the darkness shall cover me, then shall my night be turned to day. Yea, the darkness is no darkness with thee, but the night is as clear as day. The darkness and light to thee are both alike.